today is such a special day, and I look around and I know so many people in here and the parents, and what a beautiful day to come together and celebrate the successes of our student athletes and coaches. I think you see up here, 52nd annual. I'm just telling you, that's a lot of history and excellence at this college. 52nd annual that they've been naming student athletes of the year. So for you athletes that are in the house, this is a great honor to be here today. I say this every year, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I think everybody in this room right now has been instrumental in the success that we've had. Whether you're an athlete, a coach, our medical staff, the boosters, the sponsors, parents, seriously, the success that we have at Cuesta College is due to the people that are in this audience right here. All the different departments on campus, and from the bottom of my heart, again, I want to thank everybody in this room for all the great work you've done this year. So thank you, okay? Okay, and I want to say one more thing. This is like a special one for me. I don't know why, but I'm just going to tell you, as the athletic director, I think my ultimate job is to make sure that our student athletes are getting a positive, rewarding experience here while they're here. You know, that's my job. They leave here and they've had a positive experience. And I look around and I see the sophomores in here and the parents that we've gotten to know over the years. You know, it's kind of I know there's freshmen in here, but it's a special group right now. And this is all part of that experience. You're here for a reason because you've represented Cuesta College athletics to the fullest, whether in the classroom, on the field. And we're here to honor you student athletes today. That's why we're here today. It's just because it's a special day for you and your experience here now. Again, I can't find a better way to cap it off, to celebrate with you here with your parents. So congratulations to all the athletes here today, okay? Okay, I have several introductions that are in the audience here from our administration and Board of Trustees, but I'd like to just take some time to thank the people that are here today. I know from the Cuesta College Board of Trustees, Trustee Pete Sysak. Stand, Pete, thank you for being here. From the Cuesta College Administration and some other honored guests, and save your applause till I get through this group. Superintendent President Dr. Gil Stork, Vice President of Academic Affairs Dr. Deborah Wolf, Vice President of Administrative Services Dan Troy, Dean of Academic Affairs Dr. Jason Curtis, Dean of the North County and South County Center, Dr. Maria Escobedo, Executive Director of the Foundation and Institutional Advancement, Shannon Hill, 2013 Alumnus of the Year, George Galvin, and batting cleanup of that group, President Emeritus, Dr. Frank Martinez. From our Athletic Booster Club, which is a group that I truly enjoy working with, one of the best groups on campus, on this through Cuesta College. I'm going to introduce Vice President Stan House, Past President Abby Woodward, Nancy Webb, Jason Curtis, Mary Rash, Jim Sunderland, Joy Chambers, and Ray Zielinski. Thank you for all you do. And our major sponsors, again, athletically, we can't do some of the things we do without their support, moral support and financial support, and they're here every year. They're on our team year after year, and I appreciate all they do for us. And I'd like to introduce from Rabobank, the Chairman of Community Leadership Group, Steve Harvey, and Vice President Lisa Adams. Thank you. From Phillips 66, which is another great sponsor, Superintendent of Health, Safety, and Environment, Kristen Kopp. From the California National Guard, been great friends of ours as we use their facilities over at the old gym, but Colonel Joe Rigello and Lieutenant Colonel Angel Ortiz. Thank you very much, guys. From Columbia College, Teresa Genova. Thank you, Teresa. Also from the SLO Student Living Managers, the new center with Stenter Glenn. It's now the SLO Student Living, and we're proud to be partners with them now. Managers Morgan Dahl, Ashley Valenzuela, and Assistant General Manager Christine Molina. Thank you for being here. And our medical staff. I do want us to thank the people that are here for us with our athletic trainers throughout the year. And from Affinity Chiropractic, they're not here quite yet, but Jeff Heiner and Sandra Karlick. And from San Luis Sports Therapy, Stacy Ritter, who's here with us. And our team physician, from Central Coast Orthopedics, Dr. Sean Devine. Thank you guys for all you do. Okay, with that, I would like to introduce President Superintendent Dr. Gil Stork. Gil, you want this or the...
Thank you, Bob. And let me add my welcome to all of you today. This last 2 weeks of every semester, especially in the spring, is probably our most exciting time because we get to celebrate the accomplishments of our students, but also the accomplishments of our faculty and staff who have made it possible for our students to succeed. And this event obviously is one of our first kickoffs to leading up to commencement, which will happen a week from Friday. I have a couple of people that I'd like to thank also. One is my wife, Janice, my wife of 52 years, and you know, she got into the business of community colleges because I was a football coach, and being the wife of a football coach is something like being the wife of a president, is the fact that you're gone a lot. There's a lot of the stuff we do they think is trivial, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, but also it's an extremely rewarding partnership. I want to thank Jan for all that she's done for me. And the other thing that keeps us all going is our grandchildren. We have 10 grandchildren. This is our youngest grandchild. This is Josephine, better known as Fina. Hi, Fina. And her, and her new best friend is Bob Mariucci, because she ran into him at Costco yesterday, and he promised her a cookie today. And so, yeah. So, Bob, where's the cookie? Oh, yeah. She ate 4, huh? Okay. Anyway, I've been associated with the Cuesta College athletic program since 1967, when Dr. Frank Martinez, who at that time was the vice president, who, you know, had a brain malfunction and offered me the position, and as Warren Hansen's assistant coach. So these two guys right here were very instrumental for me making a decision to come to Cuesta College. And I've been associated with the athletic program that whole time. And I just want to tell you that since 1990, when I was the vice president of student services and had the opportunity to be the administrative rep to the Western State Conference, the conference in which Cuesta College competes. This is a conference of 18 colleges, a very large conference, and there's no conference that's better respected in the state than the Western State Conference. And there's no college within the Western State Conference that is more well respected than Cuesta College. And that has to do with the quality of the leadership that Warren did for 30 years and that Bob's done for 16 years as athletic directors, and the quality of the coaches that we hire and put in charge of our student athletes. But more importantly, it's the attitude, the behavior, and the spirit of competition that our athletes bring to each of their particular sports and events. And that I hear all of the time. I currently serve on the California Community College Athletic Association Board of Directors. Each conference has a president that represents that conference. So the 18 presidents within the Western State Conference, I represent those 18 presidents. So I get to hear from a state level about everything that's going around the state, who's doing well, who's not. And I'll have to tell you, the number of scholar athlete teams that we've produced, the number of scholar athletes that we've produced as statewide is unprecedented in terms of the other colleges. So I'm very, very proud of being able to represent a fine conference, but more importantly, to represent all of our student athletes and coaches and athletic directors and our boosters that work so hard on behalf of these students. So today is all about celebrating success. And what I'm most inspired by at this event is to hear the stories about the accomplishments of our student athletes. Not only their athletic accomplishments, but the amazing accomplishments they've done in terms of pursuing their education, and the opportunities that have opened up because of their ability to balance both an athletic and an academic performance. And that's what Bob was saying about his primary job. That's all of our primary job, is to making that student experience successful and meaningful. 2 weeks ago, we had a football reunion here in this room. Football was dropped at this institution 40 years ago as a victim of Prop 13. So the last season was 1977. So we had football for 13 years. Most everyone doesn't know that. They forgot about it, or weren't even born yet, to even know that there was a football program. But Warren and I remember it very well, and Dr. Martinez. And so we invited all of the players from those 13 seasons back, and we had 75 players show up, and we had about 140 people come to this room to celebrate that experience. And someday you student athletes will have the opportunity to reconnect with those student athletes that you've performed with, that you've dealt with, that you've overcome disappointments, and you've joined in the celebration of success. To hear their stories now, and these guys now are in their late 50s, 60s, and early 70s, to hear how meaningful the Cuesta experience was 40 to 50 years ago was inspiring. It was very moving. Some were very emotional about reliving and seeing people they hadn't seen for over 40 years. So this is not just a 2-year experience. This is a lifetime experience. So the relationships that you've developed over the last 2 years, or this year, or this spring, these are lifetime experiences. And so I hope you really take that into consideration as you move forward. As some of your best friends are going to be now, they're going to be reconnected 10 years from now, they may be reconnected 30 years from now. But the common bond is the experience you had here at Cuesta College. So thank you for being here, and thank you parents who have come today to celebrate the experience that your sons or daughters have had here at Cuesta College, and for choosing to attend Cuesta College. I'm trying to talk my daughter into moving back to San Luis Obispo so that this little gal can be a promise student and come to Cuesta College fee-free. All right, thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to introduce our Sports Information Director and Women's Water Polo Coach, Pete Schuler. Pete.
Hello and welcome. We are starting our award portion of the Athlete Awards Banquet. Our first award, this is the Athlete of the Year, but we break it down by month, and you'll see the posters in the back, the Athlete of the Month posters. And every month we celebrate a male and a female athlete, and Bob's getting the posters, and we honor them, and then we advance them on to the state award. Now, our award started in 1996, sorry, and has now been co-opted by the state. It's now the state award is based on the award that started here at Cuesta College. So I'd like to bring up those athletes for the month that were here and have them stand up along here when I call your name. From September, the male athlete of the month was Alex Garcia from wrestling. Come on up, Alex. And female athlete from cross country, Miranda Dashian. In October, from cross country, the male athlete was Sean McDermott. And the female athlete from water polo is Stacey Hughes. Continuing with water polo, in November, from the men's team is Johnny Hartshorne. And from women's volleyball, Maren Cracknell. For December, we move on to basketball. On the men's team was Donovan Townsend. don't know if Donovan's here. And from the women's team, Madison Collins. In January, we stayed with basketball. For the men's team, Noah Saunders. And from the women's team, Tawny Lino. In February, we moved to the diamond. From baseball was Casey Rocco. And from softball, Dana Manser. In March, from track and field, Aaron Cheek. And from softball, Demi Donnell. And fresh off the state championships last weekend, for April was swimming. From the men's team, Austin Barton. And from the women's, Lauren Davis. And we will have one more coming up. You can see the TBA up there. We'll have our May Athlete of the Month as soon as track completes in the next couple of weeks. So we'll have our nominations and votes then. So ladies and gentlemen, your 2016-17 Cuesta College Athletes of the Month. Congratulations, nice job. Our next award started when Dr. Stork was a newlywed 52 years ago. The George Silveria Student Athlete Career Award, and it's based on points over and participation as a student athlete, as your citizenship, your coachability, and your athletic performance. The award honors and serves as a memorial for George Silveria. George served in World War II and was a graduate of the original San Luis Obispo District Junior College in 1948. He's a captain of the football team in 1947, executive member of the student body, a dedicated student, and extensively involved in the community. He is well respected by his teammates, coaches, teachers, and peers. He truly exemplified what we want out of a Cuesta student athlete. George succumbed to leukemia in 1961, and this award takes into consideration those qualities that he displayed while he is an athlete here at Cuesta College, or at San Luis Obispo Junior College. So we'd like Cuesta College athletes leave Cuesta and make an impact on the community at large. And this year's 52nd recipient of the George Silveria Career Student Athlete Award is from cross country and track, and that's Sean McDermott. A little bit about Sean. Sean has enjoyed an outstanding 2 years at Cuesta competing. This is his second year as a cross-country nominee for the Athlete of the Year award, but Sean has done a lot more for Cuesta than win races. You hear talk of the loneliness of the long-distance runner, but they were not talking about Sean. Sean, as in an individual sport, he's a team leader and helps bring his teammates along and is a visible presence on the track every day. Of course, he's done a lot of winning too. He is a two-time all-state cross-country runner, the only one who's done that in our history, and this year he actually won an individual state title. He is also a two-time state qualifier for track and holds Cuesta records for the steeplechase and the 3,000-meter run. He also ranks in the top 5 in the 5K and 10K, so there's your long-distance runner right there. Of course, we expect him to win another state title coming up the next couple of weeks. Off the track and out of his tiny shorts, Sean has been an outstanding student. He has earned all conference academic honors in his first 3 years of competition and compiled a 3.64 GPA and 47 units over the past 3 semesters. Sean will be transferring to Cal Poly for the 2017-18 season. So Sean McDermott, your 52nd Cuesta College George Silveria Award winner. Oh boy, I'm gonna need some help for this one from this guy. Warren, come on up. It's time for the Warren Hansen Scholar Athlete of the Year Award. This award was established in 2002 and named for the Warren Hansen Scholar Athlete Award in recognition of former Cuesta College Athletic Director Warren Hansen's 36-year commitment to excellence here at Cuesta College. Student must maintain a 3.5 GPA and be nominated on the basis of their citizenship and athletic performance. Our female Hanson Scholar Athlete of the Year award for this year is Miranda Dashian from cross country and track. A little bit about Miranda. Miranda is a local girl from Atascadero. She's a 2-year member of the women's track team and ran cross country this past fall. She's a 2-time all-conference academic team member. She has enjoyed a perfect season on the course and won on the track this year, but also had a summer school B. So Miranda has posted a 3.92 GPA over the last 3 semesters with 55 units. Miranda is a psychology major and will also be transferring to Cal Poly. So Miranda Dashian. Our male Scholar Athlete of the Year is from wrestling. That's Modan Goldman. A little bit about Modan. Modan came to Cuesta from Sunnyvale. He has earned all SEC. Wrestling competes in the Southeast Conference, and the rest of the teams compete in the Western State Conference, so he's all SEC, which sounds like he's from the South, but he earned all SEC honors as a freshman. He's a 2-time regional qualifier for Cuesta, and he is a 2-time all-conference academic selection. He has posted a 3.91 GPA in 73 units over 5 semesters. Again, 1B, organic chemistry. Gotta have something to knock him a little bit. He is a biological sciences major and will be transferring to UCLA. His coaches have praised him for his hard work and consistency on the mat in the classroom, and both Miranda and Modan will represent Cuesta at the conference and state level as Cuesta College's 3CAA Scholar Athlete nominee, award that we have won several times here at Cuesta College. So good luck to Miranda and Modan as they move on up the ladder for the conference and state awards. Thank you, Warren. And we're going to move on to special presentations. Bob has some more awards to hand out. Oh, we're good right now. Okay.
I'd like to just recognize some of our coaches that had some honors this year as far as Conference Coaches of the Year, which is a tremendous honor amongst their peers. Our conference is 18 schools, too, FYI. I mean, it's one of the biggest conferences in the state. But I'd just like to just have them stand real quick to be acknowledged. Those coaches are Brian Loker, men's cross country, John Marsh, women's swimming, and Joe Dansby, wrestling. Hold on, stay. Just real quick about Brian and Joe. John was unable to be here this afternoon, but Brian's in his 9th year as the head men's cross country coach. This past year, he was named Men's Cross Country Coach of the Year. The men placed 2nd in conference, and the women placed 3rd. In the state championships, as you will hear later, Cuesta had the #1 male and the #1 female runners in the entire state. So good job, Brian. Joe Dansby has been our head wrestling coach here for 16 years. This past weekend, Joe was inducted into the California State Wrestling Hall of Fame. Joe was a former All-American at Cal Poly wrestler. He was on the Olympic team, an Olympic team member, and I had the honor of being over there with Joe, and it was a tremendous event. The California State Wrestling Hall of Fame is a tremendous honor, and it's all wrestling, and he had a Cal Poly contingency that you wouldn't believe. A lot of people over there from Cal Poly supporting Joe, but great job, Joe. Congratulations on that. John Marsh, I'm going to mention John, unfortunately couldn't be here, but he was also the women's swimming coach of the year. This past spring right here, they placed 4th in the conference, the women. He qualified 4 women to the state and 2 men to the state meet. And on the women's side, 5 school records were broken on the women's side, and Lauren Davis broke the state swim meet in the 200 breaststroke. So good job to John and Lauren and that entire team. Good job. Okay, we also initiated an award in 2009, a few years back. You gave it away. You gave it away. So in 2009, we began the Alberta Deutsch Fan of the Year Award. And Alberta and Dan Deutsch, and Alberta passed away that year in 2009, but Dan has been a stellar supporter of ours over the years and booster member, but there were two tremendous fans. And what we wanted to do is honor somebody that, went to the games as Alberta did, and Dan. They went to the basketball and volleyball and softball and just were passionate about our student athletes. And I'll be honest with you, so we get nominations from our coaching staff, from the support staff, and everybody in here is a great fan. I mean, everybody is a tremendous fan of our student athletes. That's why we're here. But this year, again, it was a difficult choice, but the person that we chose, kind of give it away here. Okay, let's just cut to the chase here, Chrissy. I'm just going to say some of the comments about the recipient this year. She is the ultimate fan for the student athletes and coaches here at Cuesta College. She is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. She goes the extra mile to get things done. Did you know she's a great photographer? I like this one. Baseball in person, all sports in her heart. And here's what I say. She is such a positive reflection upon our sports program. She attends just about every baseball game on this campus and even travels to away games. She is so good with the parents of our student athletes. I'm actually thinking about making her a recruiting coordinator for our department. So with that, Chris, we'd like to introduce our Alberta Deutsch to the Fan of the Year Award to Chris Ballou. Chris.
Wanted to say hi.
Hi. Thanks, you guys. This is quite an honor. It's all about the athletes and the coaches today, though. I just wanted to say thanks for giving me the opportunity to honor you guys. So, go Cougs! There are other sports besides baseball, and I do attend them as well.
Okay, with that, congratulations again, Chris. At this time, we go through the nominees of each sport, and each coach has a couple minutes to speak about their nominee, and let the fun begin. Here we go, Pete.
Hi, I'm back. I'm the default nominee. Some of the coaches could not make it here today, so I will be presenting their nominees. And our first nominee I'd like to present is Noah Saunders from men's basketball. Our coaches didn't know much about Noah when he arrived from Pittsburgh, PA, but they loved the way he dunked. Noah turned out to be much more than a high flyer. He was our most important player on the floor for the Cougars last year, and he was on the floor a lot. He led our team in minutes this year. He is also one of 4 players to average over a dozen points per game. He led the team in both rebounds and blocked shots and was second on the team in assists. With the game on the line, the coaches always tried to give the ball to Noah, and he twice made the game-winning shots for us this year. Noah was the Cougars' impact player, and opponents had to plan for him every night. He was selected to the All-Western State Conference first team this season, and we're expecting big things from Noah next year. Men's basketball MVP and nominee, Noah Saunders. Lost my helper. Next, we'd like to invite up Austin Barton from swimming. Everyone took notice of the skinny kid from Albany, Oregon last fall when he jumped into the water. Austin ended up starting 36 of 37 games during water polo season and scored 29 goals. After his debut, the Cougars are ready to see what he can do next year. They got a quick preview this spring when swimming started, and he vaulted to the top of the ranks in the state. He ranks in the Cuesta's top 5 in top 10 in 5 events, and set a new Cuesta record in the 100 individual medley, which is all 4 strokes. So you know he's a well-rounded swimmer. But he made his mark in freestyle. Also won a conference title in the 50 freestyle, the sports glamour event. That's basically the fastest man in the conference award right there. And he finished 5th in the state championships in the same event. His state time of 20.9 seconds missed Cuesta's record by 4/100ths of a second. It should be noted that he was our Cougars' leading scorer at both the conference and state championships, where the Cougars finished 4th in conference and 21st in the state meet, which jumped us 10 spots higher than the year before. Austin is an up-and-coming water polo swimmer, but this year he is men's swimming and diving most valuable player and nominee. We continue with aquatics. When John's not here, it's a big gap to fill Coach Marsh's spot. So, for women's swimming, we have Lauren Davis. Lauren has enjoyed a huge season here at Cuesta College. She is one of 4 Cuesta College athletes who won a state title this year. Kind of a big year in the state titles for us this year. She just returned from the 2017 3CAA state championships, where she led the Cougars to 8th place, which is the program's highest mark since 2000. She earned the performance of the meet at the state championships by breaking the state 200 breaststroke record by 3 seconds in the prelims, and then breaking her own record by another 3 seconds in the finals to win her state championship. That's tapering right. Lauren was also named the Western State Conference Swimmer of the Year and set new Cuesta records in the 100 and 200 breaststrokes, as well as the 200 individual medley, and also joined 3 of her teammates to set new Cuesta records in relays. She is now part of 5 Cuesta records. Lauren is up for All-American honors in several events and is Cuesta's Women's Swim Dive Athlete of the Year and nominee. So, Lauren. And I'd like to present Johnny Hartshorne from men's water polo. Johnny plays water polo. Johnny's play in the water is the key to the Cougars' season, and his leadership was the glue to the team. He's a sophomore on this year's team that was spread out over 3 seasons. The Cougars basically had the starting group back from 2014, the starting group back from 2015, and a whole new crop of freshmen with Austin Barton in 2016. So you had a great span of people who expected to start, but Johnny, as the returning All-American, kind of was a glue for that team right there. He has a seamless game and has a way to make everybody around him better. He's a tough defender and led the team with 54 steals, and he was second on the team in assists and led the team with 66 goals. His 159 career goals ranked 9th all-time at Cuesta College, which is one of the best water polo schools in the state. Johnny's a 2-time first-team All-American. Only 13 people have done that in 30 years of Cuesta water polo. And he was an easy choice for this year's water polo MVP, and his play led the program to the program's 38th consecutive playoff berth. The Cougars have never missed the postseason in water polo. So here's Johnny and his success. He'll be moving on to UCSB next year. And men's water polo MVP for Cuesta College, and our nominee, Johnny Hartshorne. And our next person coming up for men's track is Brian Loker and Aaron Cheek. Okay, there they are. Didn't know where.
Hello. I was listening to Dr. Stork's speech to everybody, and one of the things that was very heartfelt for me is the way that we conduct our program here for track and field and cross country. And one of the things I tell the kids at the beginning of the year, and I talk to their parents about when we're recruiting them, is that in track and field and cross country, we're not just helping your athletes, your son and daughter to get better. What we're here to do is to raise young men and young women, and that's like one of the reasons why I really enjoy being a part of the community college program, because I feel like there's a lot of young men and young women who end up coming to us that need help getting to the next stage in life. They need some guidance a lot of time, and I enjoy being that person in their life. So one of the people that came to us recently is Aaron Cheek, and just wanted to give you a little bit of background philosophy in our program, but Aaron actually didn't need to be raised at all. His parents did a great job of doing that, and he's one of the most mature athletes that we've had over the past 2 years, in any time that I've been coaching here over the past 10 years. So Aaron, kind of from day one, took the bull by the horns and wanted to be a great decathlete here at Cuesta College. And he was able to do that in his very first year, ended up setting a school record in the decathlon, the state championships. He PR'd in all 9 out of the 10 events that day? 7 out of the 10 events on that particular day, which is more or less unheard of when you think about decathlon. What we talk about is consistency, not hitting PRs all the time. So his ability to do that was really unfounded. But besides that, Aaron's been a great academic student here at Cuesta College. He's going to be transferring to UC Santa Barbara next year, and for a long time was pre-med. Are you still there? Yeah, still doing pre-med. So he's definitely had his academics in gear from day one. He knew he had a path where he wanted to go off into the next level and do college athletics, and also continue to focus on his career in academics. And aside from those two things, he's been a fantastic leader for us the last couple of years. Even though he was a freshman last year, he was one of our best leaders on the track and helped lead our men to their first conference championship in school history since 1974. Was one of our leading scorers. He scores every year in the javelin. He's been 2-time conference champion in the javelin. He's been 2-time runner-up in the 110 hurdles. And Aaron basically scores in anything you throw him into. And he also has this strange knack of hitting the season just perfectly in terms of his peak. So he always has like some little stumbles here and there throughout the course of the year, but seems to right the ship by the end of the year. Now, I was watching Aaron at practice the other day, and his toughest event is the discus, where he was throwing 100 feet earlier this season, and now he's throwing 120. One of his other hardest events, the pole vault, he knocked it out of the water the other day. He could probably be jumping 13 feet in a couple weeks. He's also doing really well in the shot put. He's number 2 in Southern California, ranked in the javelin, and he just made the state final, or the SoCal finals for the 110 hurdles. So our male track athlete of the year nominee, Aaron Cheek.
Hey, Aaron, stay up here. Hi, I'm Janie Johnson. So I was the head track and field and cross-country coach here for 8 years. And this is my 27th year working at Cuesta. And when I retired from coaching, my husband Jan still helps with the pole vault. He coaches Aaron. And I started at Santa Barbara City College in 1974 when there was no women's track. And I was a track athlete in high school. And so with the grace of my brother-in-law, I got into Cal Poly, where I received the first track and field scholarship for women in 1974. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is to pay it forward. And so Brian and I always look at what kind of athlete can we do to help someone that is going on to the next level, who's a huge leader, a talent, and is surely to be successful at the next level. So he's not allowed to cash this till after the state meet, but this is for Aaron Cheek.
Okay, our next nominee from volleyball, Coach Rocky Nystrom, and her nominee, Maren Cracknell.
I got 2 minutes, right? Okay, I'm going to work on that. There's so many accomplished athletes in this room today that, for me, having Maren up here, I'm sure she's in her mind going, why am I in this group being honored today? Because Maren's really humble, and she doesn't seek recognition. I don't think she minds it, but it's not something that she pursues. But it's really easy for us as coaches to nominate Maren as our Athlete of the Year. She's had a lot of statistical accomplishments for our program and our team, and she definitely has the characteristics that so many of the athletes in this room have of being hardworking, dedicated, committed. But for us, she's just fierce at the net. She always wanted the ball, and she was definitely a go-to person that we gave the ball to when we needed the kill and the game put away. So it was a no-brainer for us. And it's funny that Pete said glue, because that's exactly what our coaches, when we talked about who we were nominating, said, is that we believe that Marin was glue for our team. Along with her teammate and roommate, Hallie, we believe that the two of them really set the tone for our team in working hard and really striving for success. But Marin's also known for her laughter and her cheer, and she would really help us in, especially the younger ones coming into the program, relieving stress in challenging situations, or just making the practice environment very positive and encouraging and energetic. So we really appreciated that about her. One quick story, though, is that our last match of the season, we were at Hancock, and we are known offensively for distributing the sets so that our opponent doesn't know who we're setting the ball to, and hopefully keeping them a little off balance. Well, we were playing that match. You know where I'm headed. And it just seemed like our selection was not as good as it normally is. And so the first chance I got the setters to the side, and I said, you know, I'm wondering what your strategy is, because Marin seems to be getting the ball a lot and not necessarily in the best situations. And they said, Coach, if she gets 8 kills this game, she will be a member of the 300 career kills. And that is really hard to do for a middle blocker, because you have to have perfect passing, perfect digging, to get them the ball, and then, you know, you have to be effective. So it's easier for outside hitters, but they all had set the goal to help her accomplish that. They didn't really care what we were doing as far as winning or losing. And I'm like, well, I'm on that page too. And it was just so great to see how much they really respected and honored her, and really helped try to have her reach that goal too, which she did, thank goodness, but just by the skin of her teeth. I thought we were gonna have to go 4 sets with them to get it done. She's also a scholar athlete, though, too. In 2015 and 16, she was part of the academic team. She plans to travel abroad next year to study still, so that's her goal down the road. She was our team kill leader, so offensively, she was just a big weapon. Defensively, she led the teams in solo blocks. She's been all conference both years that she's played. She's our MVP. She's our captain. And just a wonderful personality. And I would like to also just say hi to, or let you know that her parents are here, Lisa and Russ. And my dad always used to say that you have a right to be like your parents. And I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with you all. So thank you for sharing her with us. It's just been a joy, and she's an elite competitor, and she's been a joy to coach. And so our nominee is Marin Cracknell. Thank you.
Okay, our next presenter is Coach Brian Locher and his nominee for men's cross country, Sean McDermott.
I'm not sure how many of you noticed, but Pete and I dressed each other this morning.
He's got great taste.
This guy's good looking. Anyway, back to Sean. So you guys can all read the statistical analysis of how Sean's been doing here at Cuesta. He's on our records boards in a lot of different places. He's also one of our top scorers in conference the last couple years. But I always like telling stories more so than statistics. So I'm going to tell Sean's story. I think I told it last year, but I'm sure you've all forgotten. It's been 365 days. So when Sean originally wanted to come to Cuesta to run, he sent me an email, and I looked up his stats, as most coaches do, and I said, you know what? He looks like a great young man, but I'm not sure if we're going to have room for him this year. His high school statistics weren't glowing. But he was very persistent in terms of emailing me and staying in contact and trying to get in the door. And I let Sean know, hey, I'd really love to have you here at Cuesta, but I can't guarantee you a spot on the team. We only have 13 spots for males, and I have to take the best athletes in each of those positions to try to put our team together. And during the summer, my assistant coach, Mike Kinter, was up at the USA Track and Field Trials and met Sean's brother, who was competing in the Junior National Steeplechase there. So then I started putting some formulas together, and then there might be some talent running in the McDermott genes, so maybe we do want to have this kid on campus anyway. So Sean got here. He was in fantastic shape, and he kind of hit the ground running. The young man has done every mile I've ever asked him to do since he's been here. If I have a mileage chart for him, it says 53 miles. He does exactly 53 miles. He's been extremely easy to coach. Starting from his first day of practice, he was leading our athletes in their workouts. He's been leading them in guidance. He's been leading them in terms of his influence as a team captain. And Sean has basically transformed himself from an also-ran in high school to a young man who took 5th at the state championships as a freshman and was our state champion this year as a senior. And to go along with that, I think the most important thing about watching Sean run and his growth is his mental perseverance. There's a young man from San Bernardino this year who won every cross-country race that he came in against junior college competition this year, and Sean was always finishing second behind him, third, fourth, fifth, somewhere along there. But we knew the goal all along was to win the state championship. And lo and behold, Sean took care of business at the state championships and beat this young man by about 3 seconds by the end of the road. But not only in doing so, he didn't wait until the last kick. He actually forged up these hills in Woodward Park in Fresno and said, you know what, I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm going to challenge this guy and see if he can keep up. And it was pretty wonderful watching because Sean took off, and I was thinking in my head, you know what, that was not a good move. It's way too early to go. And this kid got right behind him and passed Sean with about 400 meters left in the race. And I was like, man, this is not good. And then within 20 meters, Sean made his move and went by, and I knew from then it was Sean's race. So it was a great race, and he's done nothing but continue to capitalize on that. As said, he's number 2 all-time here in the 5K, number 4 all-time in the 10K, number 1 steeplechaser, number 1 3K guy. And if we had gotten a good opportunity for the 1500, he'd be on that top 10 list too. So, Sean McDermott.
Next presenter from women's soccer is Coach Bob Wilson and his nominee, Brooke Canepa.
Come on, over here.
Oh, sorry.
This nice, petite, beautiful young lady is one of the toughest persons I've ever met. We had a game where she got flipped, landed on her neck, and tried to stand up and fell over. She's the only person in 23 years that I've coached here that left on a neck brace in the ambulance in all the 23 years I've coached. 3 days later, she's playing in the game. It's pretty amazing. She doesn't look it, but she's the toughest. I coached the high school boys team at Arroyo Grande High School for 16 years. There's only one person that's tougher than her that was on that team, and that's it. She's this year's team captain, this year's MVP. She is the kind of person, like Dr. Stork was talking about, 30 years from now, I know she's going to be a success. She has the discipline, she has the drive, she has the personality. She's going to be a total success. We are a team sport. We don't have a ton of stats unless you're an amazing striker. She was the defender. She protected the goal. I think game 5, we only had one keeper. In game 5, she broke her arm 4 minutes before the game started. Brooke never played in the goal. Brooke was our goalie for the first half, okay, till we got that sorted out the next game. Then she defended the goal in front. She just has been one of those people that when you go to a soccer game, a lot of times you can tell the score or the moment in the game by the way it's being played. You know, it's near the end, they're just passing the ball around. Brooke never got that. We'd be winning 2-0, losing 2-0, it'd be 3 minutes left, we'd have a game the next day, and she'd be just full speed ahead all the time, and it was pretty amazing to watch. She's a fantastic young lady, and if she is sitting around in 30 years with her friends from this team, I'm there to see it because she's wonderful to be with. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Brian Loker back up with his next nominee from women's cross country and track and field, Miranda Dashian.
when I talk to the athletes at the beginning of the season about what it takes to be champions, we call them the 3 C's: communication, commitment, and culture. So they need to be able to communicate with the coaches effectively and vice versa. They need to be able to compete to be winners, and they need to be able to help build the team culture so we can do it year in and year out. And I believe if we can do all 3 of those things, that what you build with your coaches is trust. So I'm going to tell a story about trust with Miranda Dashian. I tried to recruit Miranda out of high school, and I had her on a recruiting trip here at Cuesta. I said, I really want to have you run for me. I think you could be a great runner and help out our team. And she said, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. And she said, but I'm going to run track, though. I really like track. I don't like cross country. So I was wondering if she was going to come out, and I got hold of her before track season. I said, are you going to come out for track? She said, yeah, I think I will. And I said, okay, here's our mileage plan. I want you to do all these miles, and I think I can make you be really great if you do all this. And she said, no, I don't think I'm going to run that much. And so she didn't. And turns out that she was going to be really good anyway. So she was the Southern California champion in the 1500 last year. And all throughout the year, I was telling her, look, you're going to be really great at the 5K. I think you could be good at this. And she's, no, I don't think I want to do that. So she didn't. And she was almost All-American on the track in the 1500, but she got beat at the last second by another young lady. And that helped change things with Miranda and I. And I was trying to teach her the way to be great and how you do that. And making commitments to your coaches, making commitments to your training, and making commitments to your teammates. But it was still really hard convincing Miranda to do cross country, because I was asking her all year, Miranda, we'd really like to have you run cross country. It's going to make you a great track athlete. I said, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. But lo and behold, she did. Something happened, something clicked over the summer for her, and she started running a ton. She started running about 50 miles a week, and I said, man, yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be special. So Miranda ended up turning into, she turned her 50 miles a week of the summer running, which was supposed to be just, de-stress running because I like running, not because I'm competing in cross country. And she turned that into an unbeaten season in cross country where she didn't lose a single competition to a single athlete all fall. She ended up winning the state championship. In 17 minutes and 52 seconds, which is a Cuesta College school record. I had the coach who hosts us at that facility, the Fresno City College coach. He mentioned to me once during the time, he's like, that is a very good time on this course, coach. You should be really proud of her. And I was. And she didn't do it in haphazard style. She did it in dominant style. She never really allowed her competitors to get near her. And I think she ended up winning the state title by about 10 or 12 seconds by the end of the season. And she steamrolled that into track and field. Our first race this year, Miranda was very hesitant. And I said, listen, I'm not doing this again. You're going to go out there and you're going to dominate. And she has. She hasn't lost a single competition against any community college athletes this track season. So far, she has the school records in the 3K, which was from back in 1986, so 9:55 for the 3K. She just broke our school record for the 10K by about 2 minutes. She's number 2 all-time in the 1500 at Cuesta College, and she's number 1 in the 5K. Her 5K time of 16:50 is the second best 5K time in the state in the past 10 years. She's dominating. So that's Miranda's story. She trusts me. She's running well. I think she's got it now.
Our next presenter is baseball coach Bob Miller and his nominee, Andrew Navigato.
Thanks, Steve. If I can take just a short little pause here before I introduce Andrew, I'd like to take a second to acknowledge our MC, Mr. Bob Mariucci, Athletic Director, who his genuine support and efforts to help these athletes succeed is unmatched. The effort's unmatched. Back to Andrew here. Nomination for our Athlete of the Year from baseball. Andrew's our Cal Ripken, our Iron Man. He played in every single baseball game that we had on the year, which was 40 games. He's the only player that did such a thing. Very talented young man. As an offensive player, He hit leadoff or 3 hole in our lineup for basically the whole season. There was some time he spent at the 2nd spot and some time he spent at the 4th spot, but top end of the order contributor for our team. And he led our team in many offensive categories, doubles, triples, stolen bases, and even hit by pitches. So it's amazing he's able to walk his way up here with 15 hit by pitches, but significant contributor there. On defense, very talented player there. He played shortstop for us in all the games that he played, all those 40 games, and made some miraculous plays. It's one of the best rangy type players that we've had in my 15 years at Cuesta. He went twice deep into the 5-6 hole, which is basically behind the 3rd baseman, and backhanded balls threw across a diamond to get runners out at first base, and went the other direction behind 2nd base, going towards center field, and spun around to make throws to first base to get batters out. But as most of these young men and women here, beyond the numbers, Andrew Navigato is an unbelievable leader for our team, his teammates, the effort that he puts forth on a day-to-day basis. And in a year that was kind of turbulent for our program, he was a rock in terms of his demeanor and his approach and the work ethic. And typically when I come up here this time of the year, we're saying goodbye to a sophomore. This year, fortunately, we're saying that we have a freshman who's going to return and be a cornerstone for building the program in the future. Andrew Navigato.
Our next presenter is women's basketball coach Ron Barba and his nominee Madison Collins.
Thank you, Pete. It's always an honor to come up here and talk about athletes and also address such a wonderful crowd. Coming from San Luis Obispo, I can't tell you how privileged it is to be back here and working for Coach, or I should say Gil Stork, our president. He was my minor league baseball coach many, many years ago, and it just shows you the life lessons that we all have. And Maddie's no exception to this story. Her dad and I went through school together. Her aunt is actually in my grade as well, and Maddie is actually from Australia. So the stories come and go here, and it's fascinating when you hear everyone's story. And Maddie was a little girl that came into a gym one day, and I happened to see her. And at that time, I told her, wow, you're going to come to Cuesta College. And I don't think she was probably even thinking of Cuesta College, probably thinking, I just want to shoot another shot out here. But anyway, we're glad that Maddie came here this year. And life lessons, this is probably so true this year. We felt we had a really good group of kids. We felt we were playoff bound. This group was a privilege to coach. Maddie did some unbelievable things. She had told me prior to coming here, you know, I wasn't much of a scorer over there. I rebounded, I did all the dirty work kind of. I scored 3 points a game. And when you hear what she did, it's pretty amazing. She not only upped everything, but she had led us in scoring with 15 points a game. She was our leading field goal percentage player at 46% per game, our leading rebounder at 9 points per game, and just totally dominated in rebounds for us this year. She, out of 28 games, she was the leading scorer in 18 of them. And out of scoring, she was 11 times she was the leading scorer of that game. At one point in the season, we were 10-4, ranked 13th. And this is where life lessons come in. Things happen beyond your control. And with players, it's up to them to kind of get through things. And I feel this year, these kids did a marvelous job. I went out at the midseason with having to have open heart surgery. The kids responded in such a fabulous way. even though the wins didn't come at the end. But I think we all learned what life lessons were this year, sticking together, being teammates. We had an unfortunate injury happen to our point guard who has similar numbers as Maddie here, Tawny Lino, who is here and who was an athlete of the month. We were having a great season, and Tawny went out with a torn ACL. And the kids still stuck it out. So Maddie has been a good cornerstone to our program. As Bob said, we get to have Maddie back for one more year, too. She's a freshman, and she'll be a cornerstone of our program. So congratulations to Maddie Collins.
And this is my nominee from women's water polo. This is Daisy Hughes. A couple years ago, I got an email from Utah, and it was the name on it was Daisy is a joy at whatever at Yahoo. And Daisy has been an absolute joy the past 2 years. Her favorite thing to do is smile. She came to us, as you can see, she's got some size, and she's a very powerful person in the water. And she was a defender for us our first year, but her skills from Utah were a little raw. And so we moved her to a side a little bit more, so she stopped getting bloody noses from people headbutting her. So she played to a side, and she ended up being a dominant defender her freshman year and making all-conference. Again, this year she came back. She was dominant again at defense, but we were struggling a little bit early in the season. We were 4-4, and in our first 9 games, Daisy scored 4 goals. She wasn't supposed to be our scorer. But I said, Daisy, you want to play at the next level, you're going to have to play both ends of the tank. Now, center defender is one of the most physically dominant, exhausting spots in the pool. Center offense is even worse because now you have the defender on you. She played both from that point on, and after 4 goals in the first 9 games, she led our team with 79 goals on the season while playing dominant defense all the way through. Daisy just had an amazing season. She's been a leader for our team the whole way through, one of our captains. We have an award we give out. It's the number 8 award for one of our players who passed about a decade or so ago. And it's about the player who kind of embodies what we want out of our teammates. Leadership, consistency, work ethic, and just overall great play. And Daisy also won that award this year. So she's our team captain, our team MVP, and our number 8 award, Spirit of the Game. All our teammates have been great, but academic-wise, she's been a 2-time all-conference athlete. Daisy is unique on road trips. You'll see her always curled up with a book. And she's always in there reading, and if I'm saying something, she also likes to collect quotes. I think eventually she's going to be a novelist or something. I'll say something to the team, and she'll say, ooh, that's good. I'm going to write that down. I was like, no, you're supposed to take that and apply it, not write it down because it's neat. But she's had an amazing 2 years. She's still scratching her potential. She's moving on. She's got a partial scholarship to Cal State University Northridge, and I think you're going to see a lot of Daisy Hughes the next couple of years. She's a wonderful young woman. Okay, and here he is, our wrestling coach, Joe Dansby, and his nominee, Alex Garcia.
I think I'm going further and further in the back of this speeches every year. It's tough to go last because everybody takes everything. Pete was talking about his athlete being curled up with a book, much like Alex is. He likes to curl up with a book, right, Alex? Coach Loker's talking about trust. Well, we have trust too, and Wilson, toughest athlete. Come on, yes, you took that away from me. Thanks, Wilson. Oh, Miller, rock. Yeah, okay. Miller said rock and worth ethic. Took that away from me. Shoot, what happened? Oh, Barbara got the hometown thing. That's gone. Okay. Let's see. Oh, sorry, Alex. I don't have a pocket full of money like Johnson, so I can't. Sorry. Like, what's left? What do we got to talk about here now? Oh, state champ. Got that. So wrestling's nominee for Athlete of the Year is Alex Garcia. He won the state championship. He's 8th ever state champion for Cuesta. Let's see, what else? Well, what you may not know about Alex is he's pretty quiet, kind of shy. But except when he steps on the mat, he's got a ton of, speaks volumes when he steps on the mat. He really doesn't know how good he is. He really doesn't know. He doesn't really know how to handle accolades that well. And I'd say that would be his weakness, is doesn't know how to handle accolades. So we kind of want to, hopefully you can help me, help him. Right, Alex? Mm-hmm. Now, this could go one or two ways. This could be really bad, and I'm going to be embarrassed on TV, or this could be good. I'm hoping there's some people that listen to the radio like me, because I'm going to give Alex a little remix here. Okay, Al? Hopefully you guys know hands clap, right? I can make your hands clap. Please tell me there's some people out there that know this song. Oh, please help me. It starts off with, turn it up. Alex is a stud, everybody knows. Oh, he gets the takedown and he's always in control. He's Cuesta's A state champion, didn't you know? He didn't even have a formidable foe. But he don't even know. For Alex, make your hands clap. For Alex, make your hands clap. We gotta do that one more time. Alex is a stud, everybody knows. Oh, he gets a takedown, establishes control. He's Cuesta's A state champion, didn't you know? He didn't even have a formidable foe. But he don't even know. For Alex, make your hands clap. For Alex, make your hands clap. Cuesta's nominee for Athlete of the Year, Alex Garcia.
And our next presenter from softball is Coach Jean Ann Ruck and her nominee, Demi Donnell.
Thanks, Pete. Hi, everybody. I want to start out by thanking Mr. and Mrs. Donnell for raising the type of athlete that is a coach's dream to work with. It's just been a blessing to work with Demi. I'm going to tell a little story. I'm not sure if all of you know what a pitching toe is, but it goes on the drag foot of a pitcher. If you don't have the pitching toe on there, it can rip a hole in the cleat. Well, on March 30th, we were playing against Oxnard, and Demi's pitching toe ripped off. And it happened to be the game that she broke the all-time strikeout record. So I thought that was pretty significant. Of course, we had to put the pitching toe back on because Demi wasn't done. She continued to break the all-time career wins record, career complete games record, games started, and career shutout record. She's also a threat at the plate. She's number 2 all-time for runs batted in. She's number 2 all-time career on-base percentage with 466. Of course, the statistics are spectacular, but it's not the complete reason why Demi is a true champion. Demi leads by example on and off the field. She is the first to show up and the last to leave. At times, it even got annoying. Typically, not that I don't want to see you, but I don't know, like, coaches, you can probably relate to this. Usually, you have freshmen carrying equipment, so on and so forth. But usually the pitcher and the catcher, they're not usually lugging everything around. But like I literally would have to come up and rip buckets out of her hand. She'd leave the game after throwing. I think one time, it was early in the season, but we played a doubleheader and Demi's got her backpack. She's got 2 buckets, and I think she even had one of our catcher's bag on her. So, but that's the work ethic of Demi. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Demi's hard work has allowed her to earn several different scholarship offers from different universities. She's in the process of trying to make a decision. She's an overall 3.5 GPA and an ag business major. It's been a true honor to coach Demi Donnell. Thank you.
Thank you, coaches. I think you all agree we've had some wonderful student athletes this whole season. So we give them now a round of applause. But our 2016-17 Cuesta College Male Athlete of the Year this year from cross country is Sean McDermott. And our 2016-2017 Cuesta College Female Athlete of the Year from cross country and track and field is Miranda Dashian. So we'd like to offer Sean and Miranda an opportunity to speak a little bit, as is our tradition. So, Sean?
Wow, I am very happy right now. Anyways, I'd like to thank Brian Locher and Michael Kinter, because if I need anything at all, if I'm struggling and stressing like I was at the beginning of cross country when I was running 20th place instead of first, they told me like exactly what I need to do, whether it be meditation, because Kinter went through heart surgery and he had to go through the same thing. Like, he had breathing exercises that he taught me and when I was too stressed, and just anything I ever need, and that's what Cuesta has provided from me through Brian Locher and Michael Kinter, and they're just always there for me. And it's there's been a Harvard study that shows happiness is found in the strong relationships you've obtained over your lifetime, and the stronger the relationship, the healthier the life, and the better you live. And I think I've gained strong relationships through Brian Locher and Michael Kinter, and hopefully it's lifelong, and I'm just grateful for all the opportunities they've presented with me, and I'm glad I could be that athlete that Brian Locher said, the one that does exactly what the coach tells him to do, because as athletes, I feel like it's your responsibility to do that. And I would like to thank my mom and dad, who aren't, well, my dad's here, but my mom's not, and they've traveled from Lake Tahoe to Cuesta maybe 6 times over the 2 years to visit as many races as they could, and that just means the world to me. And yeah, you guys are the best. Thank you. And Miranda Dashian is, I can't even say it.
And I'd like to say that I'm happy I am not the athlete that listens to what they say exactly. Because I've learned a lot through growing up and maturing and actually starting to trust my coaches. And I feel like Cuesta has just provided me with such a solid background academically and athletically. And that goes to Brian Locher and Michael Kinter and Janie for helping me, and my 2 parents over there, John and Mary. Thank you for putting up with me complaining about running and how I didn't like it at first, and coming to all my meets, and I love you guys.
Okay. Wait, stay here, Pete. Wait. I have just, what an awesome day, and we're going to let you go here in a second, but I have just 2 shout-outs, and I just want to do these real quick before we leave. 2 little things here. One, our office assistant, one of our student assistants, Maddie Zielinski, I just want to say thank you for setting up with us today and everything you do for our office. She's a great person in our office. right, and we don't do this enough. The person responsible for this banquet, the way it goes off without a hitch, that's Mr. Schuler right here. Pete Schuler. I don't give you a hat very often, but just say give it a Pete right here. No, seriously, Pete puts a lot of work and effort behind the scenes with the slideshows and everything, but Pete, thank you for all you do for the student athletes and Cuesta College. You are awesome, and thank you for everything, okay? And with that, good luck to everybody. All the sophomores, good luck with your future careers, and we'll see you here next year. Thank you very much.